Hello, everybody. This is Gooberry, and welcome to Mech Armada, our first look slash review. So, Armada is a turn-based mech sci-fi game that is developed by Lion Code Games. It is already out there in Steam, released on the 10th of August, but it is in early access. So expect there to be bugs and expect more content updates to happen on the regular, I guess. I have seen one content update for now, adding a few more monsters, but I don't think there's I mean, too much expansions coming up because the storyline is essentially concrete right now. I'm not sure how much they're going to expand on that, or even if it's possible. But here it goes. So the story is such that mankind encountered the swarm, an alien group that invaded the planet, and initially the fight was ongoing. Both sides were fighting each other on an equal footing, but then we started running out of ammunition and etc, and then the aliens started taking over, and now we are all gone into hiding underground, etc. And that's where a scientist comes up with a plan of making mechs that can assemble themselves, use parts from the battlefield, improve themselves, and eventually hopefully destroy all the monsters. So that is the premise for the game. Having said that, this is going to be a mix and match mech sort of game where you have you have a couple of parts like weapon parts, body parts, movement transportation parts, and you have to mix and match them into the play style that you'd like. And keep trying. This is like a die repeat sort of game. So every time you die, you get points, you improve your mechs, and go again. And because of that, one reason I want to explicitly say, don't judge the game by its initial the progress that you have, because initially it is really hard. The mechs you get are barely can barely go through anything in the battlefield, so it'll seem a bit slow moving at the starting and a bit of a slog. But once you get a few weapons and modifications, you can at least go through the game a little bit more successfully, so to speak. So because of that, I'm going to load an existing game that I've played for a bit, so that we don't end up just dying over and over and me not being able to showcase any of the stuff that I actually have to showcase. In engineering, try again and pick a new part two times. Try again and pick a new part. Okay, so this is my improvement screen. Every time, so this, as you see over here, this meta energy. It's meta energy is not something that you get every mission per se. It's like overall. Well, I mean, once you start off with a couple of mechs, you keep going through different stages, and once you die, you get a certain amount of meta energy back. Of course, there are some meta energy lying around and in random missions, so you can, if you collect them, it'll add to your existing stores. And then the meta energy is used to do some high upgrades, um, permanent upgrades to your base, and your combat, uh, whatever tactics, etc. Like for example, here the maximum number of mechs I can control, I can increase it to 6, which would be really good. And the glitch is also a good thing. Glitch is like we have like other than the keys, we also have another. Let me show you. Yeah, as you can see over here, this little battery symbol is the energy symbol. It's like the currency for the game. So when you play with this, when you play in this game and progress through every mission, you will keep getting energy. You'll have to, this is how you actually play the game. Actually, this is the essential tactic of how you manage this energy, your currency, for the next game, and during the existing game that you're playing. From mission to mission, you have to manage it. You'll have to destroy your mechs and reassemble new mechs, or you will start with a certain amount of energy, and then you use that for making mechs, etc. So there's a lot of stuff to look at in the game, and you will understand that once we go through a playthrough. So energy management is pretty important, in which case, if you see over here the energy storage, like the more mechs you build, of a particular type, the costlier it gets to make the next mech of the same type, to spawn another mech of the same type into the battlefield. So that eventually, I mean, if you build two mechs of the same type, the next mech will cost around 21 and above. And as you can see over here, I can get I can only have hold a maximum of 17 energy. So then a 21 energy mech is impossible, no matter how you see it. You cannot spawn a 21 energy mech because you don't have the amount of energy to even your maximum energy storage itself is 17. So it would not go be amiss to increase this a bit more. So maybe a mech which costs, I guess, around 5 energy or something like that would cost around 15 energy if I build 3 of them. So I can at least spam smaller mechs for now. So I've done this upgrade. It's not the best of the choices that I could have taken, but uh, this is a me showcasing for the game, so the game to you guys. So yeah, that's good enough. So as you can see over here, this initial mech that we have over here is 4 energy, and then we have another mech over here for 3 energy. I have not yet found out how to, like for example, here the parts to use. We don't have that many parts to actually tell us. Change what initial mechs we start with. I'm not sure how we do that. I think we have to do that from here. Because over here I seem to unlock. So as you finish, you see these keys on top. As you finish every playthrough, you will get a certain number of keys for how far you've gone to the game. And if it starts, the line starts from here. And as you keep getting more and more keys, accumulating keys, you start unlocking more and more parts. And these parts are the random parts that you get while you try to. When you're playing the game, during the missions, you will try to engineer and research new parts for making mechs. So you can't do that initially. You will do that during the game itself. So when you do that, if I'm supposed researching weapons, then the chances of me getting sniper and cannons are now possible because these are unlocked for me. Otherwise, this is what I told you. Like some of the weapons, like the sniper, the cannon, etc., are really good weapons that if you get them, it'll let you pass a lot more missions before you get face smacked down by the enemy. And as you can see over here, we have three types of parts: transport, which as you can see over here, the different transport types for your mech's bottom part for movement, etc. The body, which gives the essential of health and lets you know, it gives you some buffs here and there and tells whether your mech can hold one weapon or two weapons, or whether it can buff others, etc. A lot of different mix and match combos are there. Gambler, always roll max. Oh, nice. I don't think I've ever got the gambler. Missile head. Ooh, comes equipped with a mini missile pod. Oh my god, this is cool. There's a lot of parts that I've not yet got. And then we have the weapon. As you can see, I have unlocked a few weapons, but I've not got. I mean, there are some weapons like the flamethrower which I've not got in a roll till now. I would really like to get one just to test and see how it actually works. But regardless, uh, this is all that I have right now, and it should be more than enough to show. So this is not going to be a long playthrough, just to let you guys know. This is going to be a two-part game, I guess, just to show you guys how good the game is and let you know that it's available. You can contribute to the developer, help them in bringing up more updates, etc., if this is to your fancy. So let's just start a new run, and I'll explain things on the way. So here we go. We're going to start with one of these little duckfoot, with which has a machine gun on it, double machine gun. So if you see over here, the heart icon is your health, the shield icon is armor that some pro mechs can have. So essentially, if you're damaging, right now I have 0 armor, but if this mech had like 2 armor, then I would have to do a total of 7 damage to 2 for the armor and then 5 for the health to destroy this mech. So if an enemy does not do that much amount of damage, then I can hold on for longer. So armor is a good thing to have. Unfortunately, I am not yet so far into game that I actually have strong mechs that actually come up with a lot of armor. And the last thing, the one that looks like a crosshair except with the arrow, directional arrows, it tells how far your mech can move. And of course, because of the kind of the leg transport that I have used for this duck mech, every time it can fire and then it can move. But the mech at the bottom over here, which is essentially a mini tank tread, is it cannot move if once you fire. So you should be very careful and tactically use your mech. This mech, however, can move really far when it's on roads. I think it can move 3 or 4 tiles on roads, but it cannot use rough tiles, and we will encounter a lot of rough tiles here and there. Be careful of it. Because of the upgrades I've done, this can do a lot more damage. And yes, the weapon. If you see over here, this one's weapon says double double. So it does two, it will fire twice, and both time it's a roll of how much damage it's going to do, approximately 2 to 5 damage each time. So this is actually quite a powerful weapon that you get even at the start of the game itself. So, and the crosshair beside it says its range. You can fire at two distance tiles away, and spawn points needed for this is 4 points. While in this case, this does a flat out 4 damage at 1 tile range. So the enemy has to be right beside this mech, which is why this mech is the spam type mech that you want to just place around if you want to use it as bait for an enemy, and to deal damage and then expect your mech to die. Of course, with more health, it can be a better bait. And having said that, the spawn cost for this is just two energy, so this is also good. And yeah, eventually you'll start doing challenges and etc. So I'm not going to do a challenge. I'm just going to showcase one or two missions here, and then move on to the next. So I start with this mech over here, Mech 02, which is my little spam mech. And as you can see over here, you have these enemies. These enemies are called trolls. As you, I mean, if you see, look at their stats. It's pretty obvious. They have 4 health, 1 movement, 4 damage. They do 4 damage, and they do 4 damage at 1 tile across. So they can punch 1 tile across. And thing is, not all enemies can attack in every direction. So you have to always look at the stats of every enemy that you encounter. And another thing is, you can see these are the battery symbols. If you find one of these on the battlefield, then you can essentially uh, that every time you stand on them, when you end the turn, it will collect extra 3 energy. Look at the bottom right, it will tell you that you can collect 3 extra energy if the mech controls this tile at the end of turn. And then here you can see the scrap mechanic. So let's say I have successfully used this as bait to bait some enemy away, but then it's like on its last legs, or I know it's going to die anyway, so I don't need to keep it, or you know let the enemy destroy it, because when the enemy destroys it, you won't get any scrap energy back. But if I mean, either way, I don't. It's going to die. I know it's going to die, and I don't want it to. I want to, make as much use of it as possible. Then I might consider, scrapping it directly. That way, I get back 1 energy. Of course, it's not cost efficient. I spent a lot of energy, but you know what? At least the positive side is you get 1 energy back. Is what this thing is all about. So here's what I'm going to do. This over here is the meta energy that I talked to you guys about. It will add extra energy. I mean, yeah, meta energy for the end of the match. So I would like to have a guy. This guy will move 1 point forward. So if he moves 1 point forward, yeah, maybe I can keep this guy, the duck, Mr. Duck, at the front. So okay. Initially, when you start the game, every time you spawn a mech, the mech cannot move or attack on the round that it is spawned. So it is active. It comes online only in the next round. So this is good. This guy can attack 2 tiles across, while this troll can only move 1 point. So it will move 1 point forward, and then these guys will come, walk behind it to charge one by one. So every time they will charge one by one, and I will kill them using this mech. Because minimum is 2 damage. So if I'm going to fire twice with minimum damage of 2, then I'm going to do 4 damage at least. So if I'm doing 4 damage at least, then I'm going to definitely destroy these guys. And remember, like I said earlier, you want to maximize how much energy you get for the next round. So here you have a lot of energy and I have 19 storage. So I should probably try to make most use of this and go for these other receptacles. So next round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mechs all one step. These mechs will start running towards these other receptacles, while this duck, I'll take him one step back so the enemy can, start walking inside. The swarm. There you go. They took their one stand, and if you remember right, I told you that this mech. Oh God, the noise is really loud, huh? All right. Like I told you earlier, this mech can move after attacking. So here I go. When I click on this, this is the action button. When I click on it, it shows the range as. So the bright red over here is its attack range radius, and the light red means it can move that far, that it can move and attack over there. So that is a possible attack range, and the bright red is how far it can attack without moving. So I'm going to attack this guy. As you can see at the bottom, it says 0 out of 4, meaning once I'm done firing, he will die, which is why it is marked by a skull. So let's attack and then walk back. Oh, yeah, walk back. There you go. This mech, as you can see, scrap, I get 2 energy. Try to get as much as possible. I'm not sure I'll be able to do this. Yeah, now I'll get 6 energy the next round. Yeah, no, I don't want to do anything. Yeah. There you go. Go back and you go here. So now I'll get 3 into 3, 9. I'll get 9 the next round. I don't even need that much. So you know what? What I can do is maximum I need 6. Okay, you know what? Let's keep 9. What am I doing? I cancel this? Yes, I can. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 9 in the next round. So I'm going to spawn another strong mech for myself, a duck mech. And then what I'm going to do is in the next round, when this guy gets closer, I'm going to scrap this one mech. So I'll get, not only will I get now 9, which will make this 13, I can scrap this and get 1 extra energy back. The reason I'm going to do this is because I can get stronger mechs in the next round. If you see over here, you will notice this other chip like icon over here. The chip like icon is what you use to research new tech every round for getting new mechs for every mission. This is a combat mission. So, and then this icon over here, the mech icon over here says 4 out of 5. So I can have 5 mechs on the battlefield. And when you have better tech, you want to try to avoid using these spammable mechs. If I can have 5 extra strong mechs, then why would I need these tiny mechs? So it's a scrap by choice tactic. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to get 9 energy back. That will give me 13, which means now I can scrap this little guy over here. Do I want to scrap him? Yes, I want to. When you finish a mission, you will get right now I have a generator back at base. The generator generates 5 energy every time a mission is over. So now you see over here, even though its initial spawn was just around 4 or 5, now it's 11 points. But I have 3 ducks now for myself, so that should be good. I spawn another duck, I get this thing, kill this guy, and all's well in the world. So now I'll get another 5 energy for the next mission. There you go. I got another 5 energy and I got 7 chips. So I have a total of 18 chips. Of course, I didn't maximize the amount of energy I get, but This is better than nothing because now I have three ducks that can attack and move. I prefer having attack and move kind of weapons. And now we have two tabs over here. You have the mech. I mean, one is the mech tab, which is, I mean, you have this 9 point allocation. So I think you can have a maximum squad size of 9. No. No. Let me take that back. I'm not sure if you can have maximum squad size of 9, but you can have 9 mech types in your repository. So you can spawn any one amongst the 9 whenever you have the amount of energy for it on the battlefield. And having said that, the second tab is engineering. This is where, like I told you, we use these chips to research new tech for you. It can be the transport, it can be a body, it can be a weapon. And then the last tab, which is the upgrade tab, will help upgrade your existing tech. So it can make him a lot more better. Like, for example, this guy does 2 to 5 damage with his weapons. If I upgrade him, he can do 3 to 6 damage. So then his minimum damage potential itself will go up to 6. So, it'll make him eventually, you'll come to face enemies that have a base health of 6 and above. So, in that case, this guy would, one shot them. And you want to consider that a lot because enemies will start getting stronger and stronger. And some enemies, you would want to kill them ASAP. So, in that case, it's good for going for that. So, this is a mine launcher. I've not successfully been able to, use this guy properly. But the missile pod, this guy is a good deal because as you can see over here, he does 6 damage off initially itself, 6 damage to range, and it can attack tiles in area. So I think it has a little bit of splash damage as well. So yeah, attack tiles in area. I don't know what that means. Whether it does splash damage, maybe, but I'm gonna go for the missile pod. I could have retried. I should have maybe done that. I don't know. Machine gun. Why the hell? Why do I have another machine gun? Anyway, try again. Oh, yes. Neutralizer. -6 damage, range 2. Okay, so this guy is not a weapon. He's a debuff for the enemy. Do I want to go for this? Eh, Imagine if I can do -6 and the enemy does only around 4 damage or 6 damage. Then he will not be able to do anything to us. But it's going to have its own cooldown in that case. You know what? I want to try the Gatling gun. I really want to go for the Gatling gun. Okay, now I hope we get the. Ah, man. Let me go for the buggy. So this guy, as you can see, if you read, you have to read the stats. As I told you earlier, this guy can move diagonally. So instead of using 2 points, one to move vertically and another point to move horizontally, column or row at a time to cross to a diagonal spot, which would take usually 2 tiles, 2 action points, movement points. This one will take only 1 movement point. Be very careful when you encounter enemies that have diagonal movement because you will think that they'll need a lot of movement points to reach you. They will actually reach you pretty quickly. So enemies with diagonal movement are really fast. And on the other hand, we have the buggy. I think I'll go for the buggy because it's the least of the bad weapons that we have. Oh, sweet. Now this is something that we can use. Nice. Cannon. The cannon is a good weapon because it also debuffs and it pierces some certain amount of armor. But maybe, you know what? I'll go for the airstrike. I like this weapon a lot. It has its advantage, is its disadvantage as well. In this case, it is once you set up a point for an airstrike, it takes 1 round for it to attack. So it will not attack immediately when you fire. So you can plan ahead, know where the enemy. If you can know exactly where the enemy is coming, then you can focus all your fire in that location and take them out. So in that sense, it's really awesome. Double Gatling gun. What is going on? Oh, okay. Okay, so this guy, instead of 4 spawn point, he will take now 6. Go for it. And what else? Yeah, this should be good for this guy. Unfortunately for this other guy, yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this mini tracks. I'm going to put the buggy, so now the spawn point increases a bit. For body, I don't have a new body type researched, so I mean, you can see if you can see this icon at the bottom which says which mech is actually using this part. So blue right now, you can see this mech is blue in color. I can change the color. So this mech is using this particular part. Can I turn this off? Yeah, I can turn it off. There you go. Now this buggy has a machine gun. Maybe because it can move far away, I can always stay off my enemy's range and do this firing. So since this can fire a little further away, I'm going to use its 3 range. This does 10 damage and 3 range. So I'm going to try to predict where the enemy moves, and hopefully we can. And spawn is 17. Jesus Christ. This guy is a bit of a weakling, but he can attack and move. So let's just give this a try and see whether it works out for us. Hopefully it does. I usually like using the aircraft body for my airstrike weapon, because the aircraft is you can move over all types of tiles. So that way I can just keep freely moving around the battlefield. But even this could work if you have roads. So yeah, if I press continue, I'm going to go into the next mission. And here you go. So now we have new mechs, but as you can see, those mechs are still not on the battlefield. I need spawn points to get them out there. What I can do is I can scrap this one mech. I mean, who needs a baby mech, right? You should be very careful. If you can bolster your army from the beginning of the mission, then do so, because having a weak mech would compromise your entire squad. And if, like, for example, this mech, this buggy mech can essentially, you know, kill enemies quickly, thereby leaving all your other, I mean, keeping all your other mechs alive. And you want to keep them alive as much as possible. Ah. Oh. Okay, you can move this way. Now, here you go. This guy can, as you can see over here, he can fire 3 tiles away. Unfortunately, he cannot fire at these guys right now. I mean, they move 1 tile ahead only, which means they will move here. Next round, they will move here. So I should move 1 tile forward and attack here. So that will kill these guys. With this duck, I'm going to move here. And as you can see, now it's like there are 3 trolls in our group. So their health increases, their damage potential also increases. So be very careful. They will one-shot your mechs because they do 12 damage at a time. So don't let them get close. I'm going to end my turn. Let the swarm move. The useless guys can't do much to us. There you go. Now I'm going to fire on this location. Let me act as bait. Come, my little pretties. Show me what you're capable of. There you go. Time to start accumulating some energy. So there you go. We did 10 damage to him. And now we can take this guy out. Easy peasy. Again, I'm going to do the same thing because this guy is also going to walk forward. So another thing, another piece of advice in this case, don't underestimate the enemy. The AI tactics are pretty good, are really good in some cases. Like this one, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, he can come attack this guy or he can move around here. But if he moves around here, he doesn't get an advantage. When the enemy gets an advantage, he will use the advantage for his entire squad. He will try to make moves in such a way that the entire squad benefits just like you. So I don't know. The logic is pretty good in this game for that one sense, because they won't individual units won't act on their own. They will act for the benefit of the entire squad. So you may get your entire squad wiped out by making one careless move. So be very careful. Unlike other games, it's not like straightforward. Like you think, okay, this guy is definitely going to come here. In this case, he's going to come here because either way, he doesn't have an advantage. Moving like this does nothing for him, so he'll come forward. But if he does get an advantage some way or the other, then he will use it. Like if he could move diagonally, then he would move here. There you go. It's destroyed. And time for me to kill. And this time we get some more energy. We get some more chips for our current usage. And there you go, guys. This is, I hope you guys like this episode. This is just a little bit of showcase. So I'm just going to show you another body. And hopefully we can get another. We can't. As you can see, the more you research, the more costly it gets. I could develop a new body, or what I could do is just upgrade my existing weapons. Of course, I can't do this because everything is so damn costly. What I can do is increase the health of my Gatling Gun's mech. So if you saw that icon, the body that I upgraded, it had the yellow mech on it. And the yellow mech is the one that has the Gatling Gun eventually, which I will use. Right now, I don't have a Gatling Gun guy on the battlefield, but I will get him there. So now, when I do get him, he will have a health of 8. So it'll make him a little bit hardier, a little bit more, better for usage. And now, so now I have only 2 mechs, because thing is I don't have a body for building a third mech. So if I want to add another repository of a mech over here, then I will need a body for it, because without a body I can't put any weapons on it. But of course, if anybody wants to use a little bait mech, then here you go. It's just a leg. You can spawn this on the battlefield for just 1 point and bait enemies to it. So even that is viable. But yeah, having said that, let's get into just one more mission. This seems a little bit short. So yeah, let's try this. Ooh, what is this? Why is this have an upgrade to it? Oh yeah, okay, the body, yes. Since it uses the same body, it can upgrade to get a higher amount of health. I will upgrade all of them for 1 point each. I don't know what this guy has for upgrading. Oh, why did he get an upgrade? What did I do? What did I do? Did I by mistake swap the bodies? So for instance, what I can do is, even though the initial yellow mech had the body, I can upgrade a body for a particular mech and then swap it over to the blue mech in my repository over here, but it will not update over here, meaning it will update for the blue mech. But in this case, it updated for both. I don't know why it did that, but whatever. Bit confusing. There are some things that you will not understand when I explain it. It will be easier if when you play it, you will understand it. Now these guys, they can move 2 tiles. Be a little bit careful. And these guys are horrible, because if you see, they will attack 3 tiles in a row. Meaning if they are facing this direction right now, the direction they are facing, every time they attack, it will be 3 tiles. If they face towards the north, then every time they attack, it will be 3 tiles in this direction. So perpendicular to them, 3 tiles will be attacked. So he's going to move 2 tiles forward. Good thing for us, his attack, however, is just 1 tile across. So he will move 2 tiles here, and then he will be directly in front of me. So it will be best if I put a firing line over there. There you go. And yes, the enemy will try to use his attack in a row tactic to kill you, even if you're not directly in front of him. Because so for example, if the enemy is here, he can attack here, and since it's 3 tiles in a row, my buggy will be just in the attack zone, so I will still die. And yes, the enemy will do use that. Like I said earlier, these guys are pretty good. As you can see over there, it shows that I am going to be hurt by the enemy in the next round. So heed its advice. The enemy will do that. See, he can move 2 over here and he will attack you. So now comes the question of how do I attack this guy? If I move here to get the meta energy, this guy will come here and then he'll attack me. Sometimes you'll have to sacrifice stuff. You don't have a choice in it. I mean, it's either that or just or get hurt badly. This guy does 2 into minimum of 4 damage and maximum of 10 damage. I don't think I'm gonna get a max damage, so shit, what do I do? He will come forward 2 spaces. I think what I can do is move here and attack. Yeah, I'm not gonna take any risks. Let me attack here. This way he has no choice but to come forward. If he moves to this area, then well and good if he wants to avoid this attack. But the next round, my ducks will get him. If I move this duck too far ahead, then he will try to move this way. So let's not give him an opportunity to do that. Let me end it like this. Oh, no action, I don't want to do anything. There you go, and you're dead. Of course, that means I don't get that meta energy, but I'd rather not get it and get it and die. Lose some health of. So another thing is a damaged mech will remain damaged even in the next round. So try to keep your mechs at full health, or have a healing mech that can heal your other mechs up. Stuff like that. Yeah, keep constant reminder of, because this is a battle of attrition, and you are going to die eventually. This is it's the game is a little hard initially, but I think you can get the hang of it initially. I mean, I thought the game was pretty bad. I almost refunded the game. That's how annoyed I was initially, because I really don't like these slog type of games where you rinse and repeat. You die over and over and improve yourself. I don't really like that. But this is fine. It has some amount of replayability, not too much. So, but it's a cheap game. It's a small title, a cheap game to get. So I will recommend the game, because if it was pretty costly, then I wouldn't recommend it, because eventually it gets, for a person like me who gets bored easily, the game does get really boring. And yeah, talking about boring, yes, Mech Warrior 5 might have to take a seat in the back burners, because it's asked. So for me, the priority is to showcase the primary missions for the campaign to you guys. And unfortunately, the requisites for finishing campaign missions are so high that I had to keep playing so many battles over and over again. And the tactics in Mech Warrior 5 is that you need to get into the heavier the difficulty zones. And initially, when you don't have good faction standing, you don't get a lot of rewards back. So you're actually going in there, you need to accumulate enough money from other areas and then go into the high difficulty zones just to get better battle mechs and better standing amongst factions. Of course, you're essentially losing the war, when you're in a high difficulty zone, because you lose more than you get. You'll always be losing some amount of money. So I played that so much, it's practically annoying right now. So I want to set that aside, so I can play that later on. So yes, I'm gonna put Mech Warrior 5 on hold. Sorry about that, but the game does test my patience by asking for so much faction reputation before you can progress through to the next mission. So yeah, having said that, I hope you guys like this episode. It is our first showcasing of Mech Armada, a tiny but pretty good game, a concept that can keep you entertained for some time. It seems worth the cost, and for people who like this genre of games, turn-based tactics, mech fighting, mix and match technologies, I would recommend you go for this. give it a shot. It should be worth a couple of hours of play or more, because I don't. There are a lot of people who are hardcore gamers who really like playing stuff like this, or more games a lot more than me, who gets bored easily. But yeah, having said that, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. It will help me out a lot. Don't forget to press the like button, and I will catch you guys next time, where we will be doing one more review of Mech Armada. Just a few more battles to where we will, get further into the game and see how things take us. So yeah, having said that, I'll catch you guys next time. Till then, bye bye.